Straight up defying what Drake fans think and corroborating everything we have been saying in previous videos, Drake is clearly not over the Kendrick beef. Lately, he has been releasing very embarrassing and distasteful songs like the You My Everything collab with Sexy Red and the Wagwan Delilah track, but now it seems he has decided to change strategies? It has been apparent to him that he is just not lyrically sophisticated enough to battle Kendrick, and now he has resorted to battling on social media. On an Instagram post, he shows off his son Adonis's soccer game, and under it he put the caption, "Goats, don't worry about one-trick ponies." There were no two ways about it. It was obvious to fans he was trying to neutralize the narratives that Kendrick had mentioned on his diss tracks. But it has kept fans wondering if this is the lamest of all the disses that Drake has ever made. The post has stirred up the entire internet because based on the current state of the hip-hop industry, no mistake can be made about who Drake was referring to here. First of all, we can all agree that the caption is actually well cooked compared to some of the lines of previous diss tracks, especially The Heart Part 6. That was just bad. Let's give him that though. He deserves the credit for at least trying harder to save his image. The last two times he tried to do that with collaborations have been a total failure and made matters worse. This diss is at least achieving something for him, as it is making people question some of the things that Kendrick has dissed Drake about. However, one major thing that the caption does prove is that Drake is so far up his ass that he doesn't realize that he is actually proving Kendrick right. For instance, check out this line from Kendrick's record-breaking song, Not Like Us. Quote, "Fuck a caption, want action, no accident, and I'm hands-on, he fuck around, get polished." It's quite insane to think that Kendrick saw Drake's move way before the post. Also, Drake making a post of him being at his son's football game is an obvious reply to Kendrick's diss on the Euphoria track where he says, quote, "I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that." No matter the angle you are looking from, this is just a bad look for Drake. Even though his diss tracks have been mostly weak, captioning a post with pictures of your son with a diss introduces a brand new low. It's not hard for anyone to see how out of his mind Drake actually is right now. Let's not forget that this move came just days after Drake removed several posts promoting his diss tracks against Kendrick, including Family Matters and The Heart Part 6. He then went on to post some stoic contemplative pictures of himself. The pictures came with a caption that read, quote, "The only yes man around me is my Rolex dealer." Some fans must have thought that what he was implying was that he was back to business and now focusing on moving on from the beef. If you've been following our channel for a while now, you would know that is entirely false. And the recent post does prove us right. One thing the post does is give some Drake fans, those who still claim that he is the winner of the feud, some closure. One of the reasons they believe those claims is that Drake, through the post, still stands on the fact that he is greater than Kendrick. First off, by calling himself the GOAT. Also, the fact that the caption does not just refer to Kendrick, but also references a classic film, the 1980 movie One Trick Pony. And to those people who think that Drake didn't intentionally make the reference, I have two things to say about that. Firstly, this is not Drake's first time referencing movies in his songs. He has been doing that on multiple tracks for over a decade now. He recently did that on the Push-Ups track where he referenced a film, the Whitney Houston movie Bodyguard, saying, quote, "I will be with some bodyguards like Whitney." I guess that didn't turn out well for him, as the bar ended up being the basis for how personally Kendrick took everything he mentioned on the Meet the Grams track. Also, I don't think it's a mistake that the film stars another musician, Paul Simon. If you go through the synopsis of the movie, you will see that it correctly aligns with everything Drake has been trying to paint Kendrick as with all his diss tracks. The synopsis of the film says that Paul Simon, the lead character, is an aging rock star trying to put together a new album in the face of an indifferent record label and a talentless producer, all at the same time, struggling to save his marriage. Do you see the link here? Looking at it from another angle, this is really clever from Drake. It seems that Drake is implementing this new strategy to save his career. He is trying to diss Kendrick on his account with over 145 million followers to get a reply from Kendrick so he can start the beef all over again. Apparently, he is trying to gain control of the beef on his favorable terms, which is without music, which is quite hilarious for someone who calls himself a musician. He is definitely not trying to go through all he has gone through for the past few months. And that's not all. There is more, I promise. Drake knows that the whole situation will be so unrepairable when Kendrick's quick starts his Pop Out and Friends concert that will soon start in LA and also drop his highly anticipated album. Any more success that Kendrick gets now will leave Drake in the dust, and the whole idea of a big three will evaporate very fast. So, Drake is doing damage control. It seems that the previous events have taught Drake that for him to gain any advantage at all over Kendrick, he has to be more tactical, and he is not going to get that by releasing any weaker diss tracks. And to Drake, being tactical means trying so hard to weave together a narrative around Kendrick by trying to diminish his success and legitimacy as an artist. He is now painting around the idea that Kendrick is a lost individual whose career has fallen from the high heights it used to attain. Do you sense the irony here? The narrative going on with Drake's fans now is that Kendrick, not Drake, is the one-trick pony because he is only gaining relevance from the other artists' names. They believe that Kendrick's recent success is from the clout gained from facing off with Drake, and that it will be the only thing that will make his upcoming album successful. They also accuse Kendrick's music of being one-dimensional. Notice the constant switch-ups? It went from Drake, a war general, Kendrick doesn't know how to move like Drake in a beef, to Kendrick only won because Drake outmaneuvered him. It also went from Kendrick isn't battle-tested to battle rap is Kendrick's only trick. But we all know that could not be farthest from the truth, judging by the 5 diss tracks that Kendrick has released so far, as there has never been this much versatility shown by any artist all at once. With the projects that Kendrick has dropped for over a decade now, there is no need to prove to a set of people that he is capable of being versatile in different styles of music. He is able to change and bend himself in his abilities into songs like Travis Scott's Goosebumps, Danny Brown's Really Doe, or Atrocity Exhibition. When you compare this and the way Drake has constantly been bashed for writing different music styles without being creative about them, it's quite hard to wrap your head around the fact that Drake has been calling himself the GOAT for a long time, and he has been getting away with it. Now, don't get me wrong, Drake has also shown that he is pretty versatile. However, the hype around him has been so much that people most times fail to notice how shallow it gets beyond just hopping on a trend, as opposed to Kendrick, who can go all in on anything but never fails to ensure he puts much of himself into the music. I don't think it's that hard to see how much of a failure this Drake plan of preparing several attacks at Kendrick will be. The sad thing is, Drake's fans will keep believing anything that will remove their minds from the steady L's Drake has been getting all year long. Did Drake really think that the caption was enough to increase the support for him and make people discredit Kendrick? Quite the contrary. The internet has seen through the tactic and has rejected it. People now recognize how pathetic the whole thing Drake is doing is, hiding away from what was originally rap beef and turning it into a social media thing. It is really making him out to be a coward, essentially proving everything Kendrick has said about him. What's it going to take for Drake to understand that? Well, if you're a Drake fan, you should consider advising him to lay low for a while, and then come back with a much better point rather than hiding behind these antics that are trying to prove that he is not over the beef when his actions are showing clearly that he is. Someone needs to tell him that he'd better change his ways if he still wants to go down as a great rapper, even though he is showing a lot of signs that he is not. What do you think about the caption on the post? Do you agree that it's actually a cowardly way of addressing all the allegations, or am I just overreacting? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.